In this video, I'm going to tell you about the bitter end to Game of Thrones so you can help cope with it and see the sweet in the finale of Season 8, Episode 6 of Game of Thrones. It will be based on the leaks and my analysis of Episodes 1 through 5 of Season 8 and the preceding episodes. So if you don't want to hear any spoilers all the way up to Episode 6, the finale, leave now. Otherwise, subscribe, hit the bell notification icon so you don't miss our next video. Okay, anybody that watched Episode 5 of Game of Thrones Season 8 knows that Dany is a mass murderer responsible for genocide. She torched all of King's Landing. Maybe she killed 500,000 people. Maybe she killed more for absolutely no reason. That's obviously going to lead to a chain of events that's going to end in Dany's death. And the two principal culprits would be Arya and Jon. But we know from the reliable leaks that it's Jon who's going to fulfill the Azor Ahai prophecy and drive his blade, aka Lightbringer or Longclaw, through the heart of Daenerys. And so when we see the visions of Bran or of Dany in the House of Undying at the end of Season 2, we know that Dany makes it to the throne room that's burned to a crisp. Seems like it's snow there. That might be a metaphor for Jon Snow. That might be just that it's raining down ashes. Actually, in the production notes for that episode, it was snow, but it's more likely going to be raining down ashes. And her inability to touch the throne and then her movement towards Khal Drogo and her baby, the supposed stallion that would mount the world, was a sign that she would go to the afterlife before she touched the throne. So there you go. Jon is going to kill her in the throne room. That's what the leaks say. It says that Drogon's going to take her off, her dead body off. And for me, the heroine of the series, one of the most loved characters to fall so far, so fast, and to end up dying. And we don't even get Jon on the throne. Instead, the leaks say that Jon is going to abdicate the throne, and if he's not executed, he'll go up to the far north, probably reunite with Ghost. And that's the sweet, right? That's the sweet. That Jon lives to his old age. Most reliable leaks say that there'll be a council that elects Bran as king of what is left of the Seven Kingdoms. Now that is a crazy ending. Of course that is unexpected, but there was no character development, no foreshadowing, no nothing that Bran could hold any type of political post. The guy that can't really carry on a conversation is going to lead what's left of the Seven Kingdoms. So D&D are going to go after the fact, most likely, and try to resurrect the case that was never made, that Bran is the master manipulator, that he manipulated Jon, he manipulated Sam, he manipulated Dany, he manipulated Arya so that he ended up on the throne. He allowed Dany to burn down King's Landing because he had the vision of Dany flying over King's Landing with Drogon. He allowed that to happen, so that put him on what's left of the Iron Throne. The three-eyed raven has no emotive ability. He doesn't even call himself a man. The person who spent the most time with him in the series, Mira Reed, excoriated him after she deposited him in Winterfell. And that's the person that's going to lead the Seven Kingdoms. While our noble characters who tried to keep slaughter from happening, Tyrion, Jon, Davos, Varys, all those people are not going to lead the Seven Kingdom. The person who knew it was happening would happen and allowed it to happen. The Green Seer, the three-eyed raven, Bran, is going to lead the Seven Kingdoms, or what is left of it. It's a bitter, unfair end. There's no basis in character development or foreshadowing. At least Dany's break did not have any character development to say that she was genocidal, but it did have foreshadowing that she might become that way. No foreshadowing for Bran. Think of all the people that could have been saved if Bran had bothered to let people know what was going on. Or if Bran had used his powers to help them take King's Landing in a less bloody way, helping Arya to take out Cersei. You will enjoy the finale the best if you go into it thinking that thank goodness we have one more episode of Game of Thrones and that you have the lowest possible expectations for a happy ending, because it won't be happy. It will be bitter. It's always been bitter. Ramsay Bolton was right. If you think this has a happy ending, you haven't been paying attention. When George R. R. Martin said many years ago that his Song of Ice and Fire would have a bittersweet ending, what is the sweet? Well, the sweet is, if you remember back to the first season, who were we rooting for? It wasn't the Targaryens. It wasn't the Tyrions. It was the Starks. And the Starks will come out on top. Bran will be king. Sansa will rule the north. And Arya will live. Jon will also live. Whereas almost all the other houses are wiped out. We'll make some movement towards a more democratic governance. But our heroes, Jon and Dany, will not live happily ever after. Subscribe and leave a comment below about how you think Game of Thrones will end and how will you cope with it.